everybody. This is Love from Above with your Sibling Spirit Guides. I'm Maureen, and this is my brother.
Hi, everyone. Hey, Maureen. This is Brian.
On this podcast, we share channelings we receive daily from star beings, ascended masters, mythical beings who really exist, and occasionally our ancestors. And today's podcast is super important because it's our year anniversary of channeling. Happy anniversary, brother.
Happy anniversary. Yeah. Can you believe it's been a year of content that you've been channeling or we've been getting from those above? It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing to consider all the different types of beings that we've channeled with, all the lessons that we've learned, the gifts that we received. And so that's today's topic. What we've learned from a year of channeling. So it was last August that we received this message from Thoth that he wanted us to work together, and we did not know what that was going to look like. And starting on the fall equinox of last year, we started channeling daily. So, wow. I guess I'll begin with my number one gift that I've received from this year, and that is, boy, all of it's this is called Love from Above for a reason. And just all of the love and the support we receive from those above it's changed my view of what love is. Do you feel the same, brother?
I do. And the other thing is, yeah, on that, it's like also just like, how do I put it? Like just you don't really have to worry about stuff that maybe common everyday people are worrying about because I know we're, being watched over and things are being taken care of. So it's like, don't have to worry about all this stuff that's going on in the news and things like that and just focus on what's really important. So yeah, but it is amazing and so yeah, I'm excited to get into this.
And you know what's interesting for me is the number one concept for me. I'm traveling the world nomadically, continually. And the number one question I always get is, are you traveling alone? And I want to tell people, no, I'm not. Because they're always here. Here's some of the messages that I picked that um showcase just how enveloped we are in love. This was from star beings who wanted to be called Venus. They said, we encase you in love, in a circle of our love, holding you as a cherished gem that has been mined and polished. So, yeah, I mean, I really do feel like I'm never alone. I'm always guided, I'm always supported.
Yeah, I know. I love those type of messages. It's perfect. So there's so many like that. They said that they're watching out for us, and we get so many messages that have really changed our life in so many ways that we'll cover as well.
Yeah, and then also there's so many times when I'm channeling and I just feel this immense overpowering love, and I'll just literally start sobbing like big ugly tears because I just feel, this just immense, overwhelming, overpowering love. So yeah, I'll give another example of some of the messages we got about love and how carefully we're watched over. This is from the Pleaidian Brothers. Oh no, this is from Aura. They said, we watch over you and protect and lighten your soul from its weary burdens. Rest assured that all shall be provided for in every aspect as you move forward. Every aspect. Thank you.
I'll take it.
Yeah. And then here's another good one from the Cedars. And the Cedars are the beings who seed life on all the planets. And they said a mother would never leave her newborn babe. The same is true with ourselves. We dotably watch over all the life forms that we have brought into existence. So, yeah, love from above, baby, and below and beyond, but we are truly watched over.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, my number one was similar. I mean, just like we're talking about, just all the profound knowledge shared. So these are, these are, I mean, I think some of these topics, all these topics are on prior podcasts, and you could go back and if you're interested, if you're new to this, but things like the secret reveal of three galactic laws that, and we've also, got all sorts of information about the Galactic Federation and things like that. Um, that, you know, there's so many different things. The power of proper nutrition, which has had a profound impact on my life, and based on the guidance that we receive from those above, then now I no longer eat meat. I no longer eat dairy. I don't eat caffeine or don't drink caffeine. Um, and I feel great and all those things, but it's one of those things that, it's made a huge impact on my life from getting the information from those above. And I'll take a break here because I know you have a lot of thoughts on those type of things as well, right?
Yeah, and again, I go back to like education. I look forward to the day when like the three galactic laws, or the one that I remember, what was it? It was like the path of pure provisional triumph. That was one of the laws. Do you remember that we got that? I can't remember who gave but that it was to imagine whatever you want to happen, that to be on the path of pure provisional triumph. It's absolutely going to happen. So it's understanding these two basic concepts that have been kind of obscured from basic human education, which we're now learning now, which is revolutionary, absolutely revolutionary. So, and the other thing that I think is interesting is that there's also talk of, like unification. So unification with the beings who live below Earth's crust, which we covered recently, and the beings who live above us, like the star beings, and um, all of us coming together and working for, the one creator.
Yeah, yeah, very true. And so the other thing that's come up so many times, and we got so many different message and so many different uh really interesting things that have happened to us personally is not only the power of dreams, but then they would ask for our permission if they could work on us, and you know also doing astral traveling. I mean, I don't think either of us recall any of this, but they're like working on um doing updates to our DNA, and I don't know, can you recall some of the other things? I mean, they're doing stuff to us all the time to enhance our, I said they said our bodily structures or something like that. I mean, so um it's really interesting.
Yeah, I have no idea. And then don't forget, Brian, that we've got to do a channeling. We've got to do a podcast on this. Brian's been inducted into the Ashurian Brotherhood, and they don't they'll come through me, and they don't want to have anything to do with me. But they'll, that's when you first went on your diet, is that you had to like fast for 3 days, and
Well, yeah, well, I
so
had to
yeah,
get,
Brian's been inducted
yeah,
into the Ashurian Brotherhood.
yeah. But that's part of it. I couldn't, had they said having meats with all the impurities as well as dairy and caffeine, they couldn't work on me. So that's why I've had to you know, remove those from my diet. And so yeah, that was the start of it. I mean, it's been super interesting. Just I mean, there's so many different things, but like I mean, it's like every morning you know, mornings on usually on a different time zone, and or I wake up and I'm like, okay, what message did I get today? And you never really know what to expect. There's gonna be uh you know we've talked about this, but interactions with past leaders like George Washington, JFK, Abe Lincoln, There's a bunch with Napoleon that we still have um, a, a podcast upcoming on that to be released. Then channelings from just so many different entities. So, um, we've talked about some of these on past, but fairies and genies, angels, the beings underground, and then underwater beings, just so many star beings, and just things that, again, if you were told me a year ago this is all happened, I would be, certainly surprised and shocked that everything that has come forth. So it's been a lot, but it's I just keep an open mind and just embrace every new lesson that comes our way.
Yeah, and I think the biggest surprise lately is we've heard from the archangels. So we'll have to do a podcast on that. That's been a real gift. But I'll go on next with my biggest lesson that I've learned. And that is with regards to this practice that came through on the very first channeling session that we got. And they talked about this meditation that you have to do every day. Um, and that it's like it's connecting to the earth and connecting to the stars. And that if you don't do it, it's like not charging, it's like your phone that's not being charged, that you have to charge yourself every day by connecting to the heavens and connecting to the earth. And this has become a daily practice. They said a minimum of 10 minutes is required. You may continue until 15 minutes, but after the body is charged, it's like continuing to charge a fully charged cell phone. But like I'm in China right now and I haven't been able to do that for like 2 days, and I can really feel it. I can feel it when I'm not able to connect. So this has been such a gift in my life. And who doesn't need to take 5 minutes, 10 minutes of the day and just breathe and go out into nature and connect?
Yeah. I mean, that is something that I just wasn't aware of doing. And I've also, I think if you recall, the times I haven't been able to do it, and they've sort of chastised me at times that, like, okay, at least get outside, even if it's cold outside, put your foot on the ground for a few minutes to connect. Um, so, depending where I'm at, yeah, sometimes it's been bad weather and it's still important to go outside. Um, and so yeah, it's been enlightening to me as well.
Yeah, and like I said, I can really tell. Like I said, I haven't been able to do it in 2 day for 2 days, and it's almost like I feel like unbalanced. And there is so much information about this that, there's a benefit to, being barefoot on the ground. Brian, do you remember? I mean, I don't know about you, but I used to be barefoot like all summer long. And there just really is something to connecting to the earth. And yeah, and they will, they will chastise us. I remember they would say, "It is required, it is required, it is required." This is when we couldn't do it one day because of the weather. It said, "Once a day, regardless of the weather that occupies so many human beings' attention, you must connect to the earthly plane." So this has become a big practice for me that I didn't adopt until we started receiving these channelings.
Yeah, yeah, it is. Um, you know, and that's the other thing I think is like connecting to nature. So many people are in, big cities and not even, you know, around nature. So it's finding a somewhere, that you can connect with nature and have that quiet time is really important.
Yeah. So do you want to go on? What's the next biggest gift or lesson that you received?
Well, according to all our channelings, they're probably not happy with us because this should be number one. But this is the significance of numbers and patterns in mathematics. This, we've got so many messages on this. We've talked about this at length, how we're not math people, but that, you know, this is the um, universal language, is what they say. And so, there's so much that's hidden meanings and other insights into spiritual growth. Um, Other things they said is that math principles hold universal truths. Since numbers are the language of the universe, as I just mentioned, math represents the purity of the one creator. Things like, you know, that's why prime numbers were so important because they're like the one creator. They're indivisible, like the creator. So there's just so much to this, and they so many different messages that the fabric of the universe is really all about numbers, and everything around us is numbers, and that we're sort of oblivious to this. But it's something I'm trying to be more aware of, and they've definitely brought that to our attention that it's something that's lacking in, I guess, our society, that the knowledge about how important numbers are.
Yeah, and it's interesting. So I'm in China and the language obviously totally different alphabet. I mean, there's thousands of Chinese Mandarin characters. But yesterday I took the train and I can take the train because the trains are numbered, and the numbers are universal. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So it just goes to show that principle that, numbers unify everything, even here where the language is so different, the numbers are the same. So um, it's interesting. But I want to go on to my biggest gift and that I want to talk about, and that is you, brother. So, yeah, I mean, to go on this spiritual journey, I think so many times, like in the past, and I'm sure people can relate to this, like when you're reading a book about star beings, like, can you really talk about that in the office? Can you really talk about that with a neighbor across the street? And I hope that this is a place too where we can form a community of like-minded individuals. But this has been such a blessing for me. I mean, I think we've been really close as adults, but we've definitely grown closer. And I'm so grateful to share the spiritual journey with you and share these amazing things that happen every day. And share it on this podcast and our book that's going to be published. So this has
Well,
been an amazing gift. And thank you, Brian.
well, no, same to you. I mean, none of this would be possible without you. So you're the person that's channeling all these messages, and I'm just helping out with behind the scenes. Um, but it's interesting because even though you are doing all the channeling, they always refer to us as the brother sister pair and the beloved brother. And so it's in their mind, it's interesting, even though I feel like eh, I'm not really involved in this as, I am, I mean, but not directly, but they definitely consider us as a unit. So and they do talk about how like this is really important that we connect on a regular basis. And if we don't, I mean, they just make all sorts of remind us to speak more frequently. And it's very important to the connections, and I mean other things that maybe I don't even understand. But so it's um, the connection is really vital. But thank you for everything that you do, definitely.
Well, brother, I think you discount everything that you do because none of this would be possible. Like, I don't have the technical skills to do the podcast, upload a book on Amazon. I mean, you have all of these skills that it really takes both of us. And I think the law of one channeled by Ra, and it took the three of them. And when one of them died, like they couldn't receive the channelings anymore. So these channelings come in because of the both of us, because they almost every day refer to us as the beloved brother sister pair or something like that. So it's definitely a unified I honestly think that you probably do more than I do because so much is involved in the background of this. So, yeah. But anyway, I just appreciate you so much, and I'm grateful that we get to share this journey together.
Yeah, it's been really special. So looking forward to another year. So I'll go into my third thing. It's not as profound as yours, but we've got a lot of these messages about um, just the challenge that really challenge conventional understanding of reality. And so that's something that it's a little deep, but again, um, just that there's deeper dimensions and hidden truths. And they've come through and told us so many things that some of these hidden truths and that we've talked about in prior podcasts. Um, but like this is one I really resonated with me. The goal of all life forms is to achieve a higher vibration. Um, and then they went on to say, the lighter the soul, the easier it is to travel, to feel free, to feel the lightness and the joy of each and every present moment. Um, so that's just one example. But there's, you know, we've talked about this sort of like the matrix is crumbling. It's about, being present and really present and not on your phones and things like that. So that's the other sort of big thing that and I'm also reading a book on this subject that I really find fascinating. But um, what do you think about that topic?
Yeah, and I agree. I've gotten so many. We actually did a podcast on this because we got so much information about how reality is just a hologram. And so if it is a hologram, you can create whatever you want. You can absolutely create whatever you want because it's kind of like a video game. And they all often use analogies of video games too, which is kind of interesting because neither Brian and I are, gamers. So yeah, and I think that's part of the waking up process is realizing that, none of this is really real. And what is real is love. And yeah, so it's Brian, what's going to happen next year? I don't know. I have no idea.
Well, I love this, and that we had this podcast a few weeks back, but or maybe a couple months ago. But anyway, they said now is a moment to move ahead in the direction of your desired dreams. Too often, human folk wake up, brush your teeth, go to work, come home, eat dinner, go to bed. Break free of these routines and see the greater glory of your purpose. Isn't that beautiful?
It is. It is. It is. And so I think I'll close this off with another hopeful message for the future. And it said, this was a message that came through that said, do you know how much the caretakers who assume responsibility for this planet oversee each individual life? The creators know each individual's path, as do the masters and the guardians. Wow.
Yeah. So that's the thing. I mean, it provides us really comfort. Like, there's so many, just knowing that we're being watched over and cared for. And it's really eased my burden of, worrying about stuff. I really don't worry about stuff because I know I'm, everything will work out so that's really made a lot of changes in my life. And how about you?
Yeah, I definitely I would say I ask for help more often. So yeah, I just ask for help more often. I'll give you an example. Yes, my son and I have been touring in these small ancient Chinese towns, and my son needed to use the bathroom, and let me tell you, it was not usable. And I was just like, you know what? You just need to ask the guardians. We're not using the bathroom till we get back. And it worked out. So, um, but just little things like that, like I'm just always grateful, always asking for help. And it's amazing. It always works out. So I think I'm asking for help more often.
Oh, same here. And that's the other key. I don't that we had a podcast about this, but too many people don't ask for help, and they can't help if you don't ask for it. So yeah, we do our daily prayers, and then yeah, I like silly stuff. Can't find something. Can you help me find this thing I can't find, or whatever it may be, and whatever help you have, even if it seems trivial, ask for help from those above, and that that it really works. So um,
Yeah. Yeah, it does. It does. So thank you everybody for listening and happy anniversary, brother. And we'll talk to you next week.
all right, bye everyone.